They didn't value you. But wait till you hear the truth about why. Because the reason they treated you the way they did says so much more about who they are, and almost nothing about who you are. Maybe you spent months, or even years, trying to understand why someone couldn't appreciate something as rare, as genuine, and as pure as your love. Maybe you kept thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough? Why couldn't they see my worth? If these thoughts ever lived inside your heart, this message is for you. Let's start with the truth. The kind of truth that is not easy to hear, but once you understand it, everything changes. They didn't value you because they weren't capable of valuing anyone deeply. Not you, not themselves, not any relationship in their life. Some people don't recognize gold even when it's in their hands, not because the gold is not shining, but because their eyes are too used to seeing rocks. They've never experienced real love, so when they finally receive it, they don't know what to do with it. They get scared. They pull away. They sabotage it. They run from it. You gave them effort, they gave you excuses. You gave them loyalty, they gave you confusion. You gave them your heart, they gave you inconsistency. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. They didn't value you because valuing someone requires emotional maturity. And they don't have that. You wanted a deep connection. They wanted comfort. You wanted loyalty. They wanted attention. You wanted consistency. They wanted convenience. You were trying to build something real, while they were trying to feel less lonely. You were loving with intention, while they were loving with impulse. You showed up because you cared, while they showed up when they needed something. It was never a fair exchange. But listen closely. This is the part that will finally set your heart free. They didn't treat you right because you were too much. They treated you wrong because you were too little for what they needed from you. Someone to feed their ego, someone to validate them, someone to make them feel good temporarily. You didn't fit into their shallow needs. You were too real for someone who only wanted temporary affection. Your kindness threatened them because it forced them to confront their own emptiness. Your loyalty exposed their disloyalty. Your consistency highlighted their inconsistency. Your honesty revealed their lies. Your depth made their superficiality obvious. And people who don't want to grow will always push away the person who makes them see their own flaws. They didn't value you because they were not ready for someone like you. And here's the hardest truth. They may never be. Some people don't change. Some people don't grow. Some people don't wake up one day and magically become emotionally responsible. They stay the same, stuck in their patterns, stuck in their fear, stuck in their ego. But you've grown through the pain they caused. You've become stronger because of the confusion they gave you. You've become wiser because of the hurt they didn't care about. You've learned boundaries because they crossed every one of them. You've learned self-worth because they couldn't see it. You've learned patience because they tested it. You've learned detachment because they forced it. And now, you're learning the truth. They didn't value you because they didn't even value themselves. How can someone appreciate love when they don't know how to give it? How can someone treat you right when they haven't healed their own wounds? How can someone recognize your worth when they're blinded by their own insecurities? How can someone commit to you when they're not committed to themselves? They couldn't love you with depth because they have never experienced deep love themselves. They couldn't be consistent because their own heart is unstable. They couldn't choose you because they don't even know who they're supposed to be. And you blamed yourself for it. You thought you weren't enough. You thought you needed to try harder. You thought loving them more would make them love you back. But the truth is, you could have given them the entire world, and they still would have treated you the same way, because the problem was never your heart. It was their capacity. And now listen to the most powerful truth of all. People don't value what they're not ready for. You were ready for love. They were ready for attention. You were ready for growth. They were ready for comfort. You were ready for commitment. They were ready for moments. You were ready to build a future. They were busy escaping their past. So they pushed you away, not because they didn't see your worth, but because they saw it too clearly, and it terrified them. Your love required them to grow. Your presence required them to be honest. Your consistency required them to show up. Your loyalty required them to change. And change is something they were not willing to do. So they chose the easier path. Avoid you, ignore you, take you for granted, make you feel like you're asking for too much, treat your effort as optional, treat your feelings like they don't matter, treat your heart like it's disposable. But that treatment never defined your worth. It only revealed their depth. And here's what will happen next. Something you may not believe right now. One day, they will look back and realize what they lost. One day, they will remember the person who cared. One day, they will think about the effort you gave that no one else will ever give them. One day, they will miss your presence. One day, they will crave the love they once rejected. One day, they will understand your value. But you won't be there anymore, because life has a beautiful way of teaching people what they refused to learn earlier. And their biggest lesson will be losing someone like you. But your biggest lesson will be realizing you survived it. You grew from it. You healed from it. And you became someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more self-aware than ever before. You didn't lose them. They lost you. They lost your loyalty. They lost your care. They lost your presence. They lost your energy. They lost your heart. They lost the version of you that loved without hesitation. And you gained clarity. You gained strength. You gained self-respect. You gained freedom. They didn't value you, not because you weren't valuable, but because they weren't capable of love at the level you gave it. Imagine giving diamonds to someone who only understands stones. They will never realize its worth until they no longer have it. But you do. You realize your worth now. And that's what matters. So remember this. You are not hard to love. You are not asking for too much. You are not impossible to understand. You are not replaceable. You are not forgettable. You were simply giving your heart to someone who didn't know what to do with it. And now, you are learning to give that heart to someone who will.